does your breath connect you to? There are two more connections that you can form with your breathing. One with the world outside of us. Where else?
With yourself.
With yourself, with your own mind and body. If you are breathing unconsciously, your physical activity and your emotions will take control of your breathing. For example, if you're running, how does your breathing become? It becomes shallow, it becomes quicker, it becomes chest breathing. Or if you're mad, you're fighting, your emotions take control. So your emotions and your physical activity take control of your breathing, and then it becomes shallow, quicker chest breathing. And if you are breathing consciously, you can actually alter the state of mind and body with the right kind of breathing. So your breath is connection to your own mind and body. Very good. So that was your second connection. There's a third connection that we can form through our breath with something else, which is what? I know this is always the tough one that people get into thinking mode. Okay, I'll give you a clue. Can you breathe for past? Can you borrow breaths from the future? No. You have to breathe in this moment only. How about thoughts? Do your thoughts take you in the past? All the time. We are thinking about, oh, she said, he said, should have, could have, I would have. Do your thoughts take you into the future? Yes. We are worrying about things that are about to happen, this, I have to be here. So thoughts always rob us of the present moment. They always take us either into the past or into the future. We don't need any thoughts to remain in this moment, but we definitely need what? Our breaths to remain in this moment, because we cannot breathe for past or future. That means your breath is your connection to this moment. Does it make sense? So if you want to stay in the current moment, you keep coming back to your breath. That's why in meditation, they ask you to focus on your breath, because breathing keeps you in this moment, and thoughts do what? What do the thoughts do? Take you either into the past or into the future. And we think about 60,000 times a day, and 85% thoughts are about the same thing. We keep thinking same thing again and again and again. So that really takes us out of the current moment so many times, and the breath keeps us in the current moment. So these are the three connections that we can form through the breath. First connection with the world around us. Second connection, your own mind and body. Third connection, present moment. Now, apart from this, there is one very important thing about breathing, and that's the reason why we should all know about breathing, but we don't study about breathing. What is that thing? Other than these three connections that we can make through the breath. Have you ever thought of breathing? No, right? Exactly. So, breathing is the only system in the body that we can do consciously or unconsciously. What are some of the conscious processes in the body? Eating. Like you want to eat and you know that you're going to eat and you reach for food and you eat. What else? Just anything that we do for our daily living. Standing up, walking, anything that you do knowingly, consciously. If I ask you to raise your right hand, you'll raise your right hand. If I ask you to lie down now, close your eyes, you'll do all that. So those are conscious things. If you start doing those unconsciously, then it's some kind of a disease. What are some of the unconscious processes in the body? Are there any? No unconscious process in the body.
Dreaming.
Dreaming. Oh, that can be conscious at some level, or yeah, but that's also one, yeah.
Digesting the things that you eat.
Yeah, your digestive system, your organs functioning, your kidneys, your liver, your blood circulating, your cells dying, multiplying, those are all unconscious processes in the body. We know that's happening, but do we have control over those? Other than eating healthy, can you tell your liver, hey, I'm going to eat a little bit junk today, just please. Okay, so no, it doesn't. You have no control over your liver functioning other than just generally eating healthy and following healthy habits. So that's unconscious process. But breathing, so if you decide to breathe consciously, can you breathe consciously? Yes, no? Yes, you can watch your breath. And if you start breathing unconsciously without knowing, which is what most of us do, because our body needs to breathe to stay alive in this world, and that's why we just take our breathing for granted, because even if we forget to breathe consciously, the body is still going to breathe, and that's what happens most of the time. But that is the thing that we can actually exert control over to move towards our healthier mind and body. And then how do we do that? That's where I'm going to take you now. So I'm going to just ask you, take 2, 3. Does it make sense though? That breathing is the only process in the body that's where unconscious and conscious meet. And that's where you can actually take the control of your inner and outer happenings through your breath. So I'm going to ask you 2, 3 normal breaths, how you normally breathe. Not changing in any way. Maybe close your eyes and see what's happening physically in your body when you're breathing in and out. Just do that now. This is experiential, not just talking. So you breathe and take 2, 3 breaths. Maybe close your eyes and see if you can go more within and see what's happening in your body when you're breathing in and out. And so whenever you're ready, if you want to share what's happening in the body when you're breathing in and out. Let's say if you have to describe your breath to an alien who doesn't know what a breath is. How would you describe your breath? What's happening physically in the body? Yeah? You can feel the air going in and out. How do you feel that? Yes, so where do you feel that expansion? Very good.
It's in my lungs.
Okay, we don't see the lung, right? Do you actually feel the lungs?
I guess so.
No, because that's also again that inner organ where we have no control. So where do you feel it?
Like in my chest.
In your chest. So what's happening with your breath? Is it expanding? Is it inhale, contract? Which way it's moving?
Yeah,
How do you know it's expanding?
when I inhale,
So that means happens what?
air goes in.
Air goes in, but what's happening in the chest?
It's expanding.
Like this? Okay. Good. Does everybody agree with this? Everybody getting the same experience? Inhale, chest expanding. Yes? Anybody has a different experience? Oh no. Okay, good. So right now we are sitting in a sea of air. How do you prove the existence of air? How do you know there's air? So let's say there's a balloon and the air went in. What happens to the balloon? Balloon expands, balloon becomes bigger, and the air goes out, balloon becomes smaller. So the incoming air has volume, and that's what tells you that when something expands, that the air must have gone in because it has volume. So this is physics, this is science. When the air goes out, the balloon becomes smaller. So as she said, the incoming air, it makes us expand, and with outgoing air, we contract. Now the question is where the balloon is in the body. If it is in your chest, if you are making your chest rise with inhale and relax with your exhale, then what's happening? Where is your balloon in the body? Where is your balloon in the body? In your chest. So what kind of breathing is that? It's chest breathing. It's shallow breathing because you are engaging your chest, your stomach is going in and your chest is rising with your inhale and falling with your exhale. So your balloon is now at your chest level. Now, have you heard of diaphragmatic breathing? What is diaphragm?
It's where you leave the air down here for this power.
Right. So where is diaphragm located?
Around where it's going to.
It's right between your chest and abdominal cavities, and it's a dome-shaped muscle. And when the air comes down, that means incoming air, inhale has volume, and that flattens that dome, and that makes the ribs flare out, and that makes the stomach expand if you let the breath come down towards the diaphragm. And when you exhale, that dome kind of opens up, you're drawing the stomach in and the breath is going out, so that's contracting the stomach. So now the movement is at the diaphragm and the stomach level. So what kind of breathing is that? It's diaphragmatic breathing, deep breathing, belly breathing. Have you heard of these words? Deep diaphragmatic breaths. You might have heard of, oh, slow down, calm down, take a few deep breaths and then you'll be alright. Have you heard of that? Yeah, so that's again controlling or reaching your mind through your breathing. So I'm going to show you how to do this diaphragmatic breathing. So everybody sit up kind of a little bit taller, or if you want to experience this standing up, you could stand up, it's up to you. Bring your right hand on your belly button. I'm doing your mirror image. So right hand on the belly button, left hand on the chest. So if you are breathing diaphragmatically, which hand should ideally move? Your Your right hand, the hand that's on the belly, and which way?
Out.
Out with inhale, in with your exhale. So experience that. So focus on drawing the navel in for exhale, because that's when we are contracting, and relax for your inhale. Like you're letting the air come in only when the stomach is relaxed. If you are contracting the stomach for inhale, then you are not letting the air come in. It's only at the chest. So let the stomach relax for inhale. Do you feel that? Contract with exhale. Now if you're doing this, you're moving your chest. That's chest breathing. So experience diaphragmatic breathing here. Let's do one more time. Exhale, draw the stomach in. So let the right hand go in as you draw the navel in. As you inhale, let the stomach expand. Do you see that happening here? Yes. Exhale, stomach in. Inhale, let the stomach expand. Do you feel it? Anybody not experiencing this? Are you feeling it? Yes, no, maybe, kind of. Okay, alright, okay. Let's do it differently. Bring your thumbs to your ribs. It's okay to have that.
It's okay.
Yeah, right now it's okay. I want that. So bring the thumbs to your ribs and middle fingers stand up together. So again, with exhale, I am contracting the stomach. So focus on contracting the stomach. Don't necessarily have to push the belly out for the inhale, but focus on contracting the stomach for exhale. So my fingers come closer. And as I inhale, I don't push my fingers apart, but the incoming air is going to do the job for me, because my air is going to fill the belly and my fingers go apart. Do you feel that? Exhale. Draw the navel in. Inhale. Relax the stomach. Let your fingers go apart.
Terry Maloney, please report to the form desk.
Yes,
Terry Maloney, please report to the form desk.
Inhale out. Now this is your diaphragmatic breathing. So there is no movement up and down in the chest, but the movement is in and out in the belly. Now what are some of the advantages of diaphragmatic breathing? What do you think? Yes?
Can you eat more?
You can eat more. Why do you think so?
I don't know if it makes sense. I don't know.
Okay, because your stomach expands. Well, I mean, it's a good.
There's more room.
Good.
I mean, like,
There's more room. Okay. No, it's good. It's a good connection. We'll get there. Okay. Okay. Now there's a different benefit, but in the same line. But what else? What else do you think? Is a better benefit? Why we should be breathing diaphragmatically and not chest breathing?
you be more relaxed.
You feel more relaxed because.
With chest breathing, it's more shallow.
Yes.
Like you're not getting a lot of air.
Right.
With the diaphragmatic breathing, you get that full feeling of air within your body.
Very good. So it brings blood, energy, oxygen all the way down towards the stomach region, belly, and it's not the chest breathing. Chest breathing puts a lot of pressure on your respiratory system. It makes you tired very fast. As we grow older, we start getting breathing shallower and shallower. If you see small babies, they are like this, and you see they are sleeping quietly, peacefully, and their bellies rise with inhale, fall with exhale. And as we grow older, we start breathing from here. A lot of times you can look at people and tell from their breath how they are, what kind of mental state they are in right now. And these days, modern science has finally caught up with yogic ancient science, and they are doing now breathing diagnostic tests. And from breathing patterns, they can actually tell you what's going on in the body. And these are the least invasive medical diagnostic tests that you can figure out what diseases, diabetes, blood pressure, or kidney problems, liver problems. They can figure it out from your breathing. So coming back to the advantages of diaphragmatic breathing, it is deep, so it brings more blood, energy, oxygen. At a more physical level, when you are breathing diaphragmatically, you are engaging the stomach muscles, right? So these are, what area of the body is this? Abdominal. So this is a core part of the body. This is where if you do the crunches, have you heard of the word strong core? Yes, having a strong core helps you support your low back. Your low back has no muscle. The muscles are all in the front. So if you have your strong abdominals, that will support your low back. If any of you have low back issues, or you may not have now, but as you grow older, you may start getting this low back pain. So if you start breathing diaphragmatically, you'll have more blood, energy, oxygen in this area that will support your low back. And having a strong core also helps you in the real life, taking strong positions, defending your viewpoints, taking a stance for whatever you believe in. Having a strong core, it's not just mental, it's not just physical, it's also very mental and very spiritual. Now because you are engaging the stomach muscles, in every breath, this strengthens your core. So this is like doing crunches. Have you done any crunches? Do you know, like we do, what do we do in there? We contract the belly, right? But if you are in the middle of a classroom, or if you are shopping, or if you are in a theater, can you get down on the mat and start doing your crunches? No. But can you breathe in those places? Can you breathe? Yes, breathing is appropriate no matter where you are. Nobody is going to ask you, hey, why are you breathing? Stop breathing. Right? So, use your breath to your advantage. So, this is not just a yoga breath that you do on a yoga mat only in a yoga class for 1 hour a week. This is your every single breath happening every day, every moment. So, use it to your advantage. So, you don't have to take extra time out of your day to practice those crunches to strengthen your core or do the push-ups and planks. So that is a very big advantage of doing diaphragmatic breathing, that you are engaging your core muscles in every single breath. That increases your metabolic rate, your resting rate. So even when you are sleeping, you will be able to burn more calories if you are breathing diaphragmatically, because now you are engaging muscles. And once you start breathing like this diaphragmatically, you will not go back to breathing doing chest breathing or shallow breathing. If somebody asks me to do it now like this, I feel it's so strenuous. Why would I go back to this chest breathing now when I can breathe so peacefully and feeling energized at the same time when I'm doing my diaphragmatic breathing? So does it make sense? So that this is our core center. This is where digestion happens. So coming back to your point, this is where the food is literally burnt into energy. This is where the oxidation happens. So when you are engaging these core muscles in every breath, you are massaging your digestive system and you are bringing more blood, energy, oxygen to those digestive organs. Does it make sense? Otherwise, there's nothing else is happening and the stomach is just staying lazily there, just accumulating food and fat when you are breathing from the chest, and there's nothing happening here. So if you engage your stomach and your diaphragm in every single breath, you will be much more relaxed and at the same time very energized to do whatever you want to do in your life. That will give you more stamina. If you are doing any kind of physical activity, you are running, jumping, you are swimming, you are walking, dancing, anything you are doing in life, if you feel tired often enough, engaging into diaphragmatic breathing throughout your day will give you a lot more energy. Make sense? Okay, now there are several breathing techniques. We are not going to get into all those breathing techniques right now, but I'll just show you one breathing technique that will help you calm down if you are feeling stressed anytime. So just close your eyes for a second and then inhale again, letting the stomach relax as you let that air come in, and then with your exhale, as you draw the navel in, just hum through the nose. So no, do it at your own pace, and we don't have to wait for anybody, we don't have to match with anybody. This is just for you to experience, and it's good if you have a continuous humming vibration. So just inhale normally and then exhale as you start drawing the navel in and exhaling through the nose. We'll do 2 more times. Okay, so anybody wants to share how you felt after that?
Relax.
It was a soothing breath. It was a calming breath. Because first of all, did you close your eyes or were you? Yeah. So closing eyes allows you to go more within, because with eyes open, we are always pulled in the external world with our senses pulling in different directions and we forget to go within. So eyes closed is a very good way to go more within, and focusing on that sound that gives you an anchoring point to focus becomes sound meditation. I'm going to quickly touch upon qualities of a good breath. What do you think qualities of a good breath are?
Deep.
Deep. Very good. So you got that down right. Okay, so deep means what? What does deep mean to you?
Diaphragmatic.
Diaphragmatic, engaging the diaphragm. Okay, we already discussed that, demonstrators are not going anymore there. Deep. What is the next quality of a good breath? There are 7 such qualities.
Clean.
Clean. What does that mean?
Not bad breath.
Smooth. Very good. Very good. What does smooth mean to you?
The air is not broken when you breathe out or breathe in.
Right. That means there is no obstruction in the nasal path. So a lot of time you might find that there is that obstruction, or there is the breath is more laborious. So having a smooth or clear path of your breath, it's very good. So that's one of the qualities. Without jerks. That's what we call it. Without jerks, it's a smooth flow of inhale and exhale. What else? Those are 2, deep and smooth, or without jerks. What else?
We have a hint.
What?
We have a hint.
Say that.
Hint.
Hint?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Think about the relationship between inhale and exhale.
Opposite.
Opposite, yeah. While they're opposite, they complement each other. Balance. So what does that balance mean?
You inhale the same way you exhale.
Very good. Wow, you guys are good now. Finally, I'm getting you talk now. So having them of equal length, even length, deep and even and smooth. So why is it necessary? What kind of breath is inhale? What does it do?
I don't know.
It expands, so that means it brings in energy. It's an energizing breath. What kind of breath is exhale?
Relaxing.
It's a relaxing, it's a soothing, calming, it's a cleansing breath, it's a healing breath. It takes out the carbon dioxide and then inhale brings in oxygen. So why do we need to have them of equal length? Why can't we just have all the energy? Why can't we have inhales longer? Why do we need the cleansing or healing breath of the same length?
Because the cleansing is important.
Yes, because cleansing is important. If we don't have the equal exhalation or that inhalation, we'll start building more tension in the body. And that's when we are all the time tense, hypertense. You might have seen, hypertense all the time because they don't have enough release there. Their exhales are shorter and quicker, and then inhale is too much, and there's not enough outlet. So, and what about exhale? What about if you have a longer exhalation? Why not having longer exhalation if that's a cleansing and soothing breath?
Then you won't be energized.
Then you won't be energized, then you'll be depressed, then you'll be sad, then you don't feel like doing anything in life. I don't feel like doing this, I don't feel like doing that. So this is imbalance between your breath, and that translates to imbalance in your emotional state and physical state. So you can actually alter the state of mind and body, keeping your inhalation and exhalation of equal length. So what kind of breath is better in the morning?
Tea.
Inhaling, energizing breath. So having longer inhalations than exhalations. So you can actually alter the length of your inhale and exhalation to meet a certain need. So let's say if you feel depressed at some point of time in life, then what kind of breathing you should practice more often? Longer inhalations. And if you're having too many things happening and you just can't relax and just too wired all the time, then you'll have longer exhalations like humming breath. There are several different techniques that will help you alter the length of inhale and exhalation to meet your needs. But otherwise, ideally, having your inhale and exhale of equal length is the sign of a good even breath that helps you restore your equilibrium. So you are in that same equanimous state and you are not pulled in one or the other direction. So deep and even. So it's like instead of winding up in the morning with coffee and winding down in the night with wine, you can wind up with what? Inhale and wind down with exhale. Okay, deep, even, what else? And the smooth one. Okay, so 4 more.
Another hint, Auntie.
Another hint. Okay. Another hint is turtles live for 200 years. Who ever heard of that? Why do you think they live for 200 years?
Because they don't breathe.
No, they do. They take their time. How do you define in one word? Slow. Very good. They breathe very slowly. They take their time to breathe in and out. So imagine having a bank account and you have certain money in that bank account, and if you spend it fast, what happens?
You have the money.
That account is depleted fast. So we come in this world with certain number of breaths assigned to us. And if we start breathing faster, we'll consume that quota of breaths really fast and we'll live shorter lives. So if you want to live long, healthy lives, breathing slowly definitely helps. So that's why slow breath is the quality of a good breath. Deep, even, and slow breath will be automatic. If you are breathing diaphragmatically, that means you are taking your time to breathe. That means that automatically slows down your breath. Does it make sense? So a good breath will be deep, even, slow, smooth. What else? 3 more. The next one is quiet. Have you heard of noisy exhales or have you heard of snoring? Yes. So those are obstructed breaths. So having a smooth, quieter breath is the sign of a good breath without making the noise. And if you have your energy paths open.
So Auntie, let's say I snore. How would I stop myself from snoring? And have
Okay, so there are
deep
breathing
breaths?
techniques. So doing this kind of noisy exhale consciously will help you expand and contract those nasal airways in the back, the glottis in the back of the throat, and that will help you open up more. So even when you are sleeping, they'll be more open and more flexible, so you won't be so tight in the back that you'll start snoring. So there are breathing techniques to correct all these conditions. But right now we are not going to go specific into that, but just so you know that these things can be corrected. So deep, even, slow, quiet, smooth. 2 more. Without pauses. That means inhale smoothly evolving into exhale, exhale smoothly evolving into inhale. If there's a pause in between, that means you suddenly forgot to breathe, you got pulled into something, you got distracted by thoughts. Has this ever happened to you? A lot of times you catch yourself and then you give out that big sigh because you were so engrossed in whatever you were doing that you forgot to breathe. And this happens in sleep apnea also, that people just, that breath gets obstructed, or when you are breathing somehow you just get pulled in somewhere and you forget to breathe. So having that even breath without pauses keeps you in the current moment and with whatever you are doing. And then the last one is through the nostrils only. Why do you think it's important to breathe in and out through the nose? Have you thought of that? How do you breathe normally? Does everybody breathe in and out through the nose? Or sometimes you heard breathing through the nose, out through the mouth?
Maybe after you're tired, so maybe after running, maybe put it.
After running you do through the mouth, because then there's a lot of volume of air waiting to come out, and then so you're running. So again, this is body's emergency breathing system when you open the mouth and start breathing through the mouth. But otherwise, ideally your inhale and exhale should be through the nose. Why is that? Yeah.
It's pure through the nose?
It's what?
Pure?
Pure. Why?
I think the air gets filtered.
Yes. Yes. So inhale, so the purer air goes inside and you keep the germs and bacteria from the air out because you are here. But what about exhalation? Why should that be? How does it matter if it's coming out through the nose or mouth? Because we don't have hair in the mouth. So why does it matter? How do you breathe out? Inhale, I can understand. You want to take the purer air in. But why not release through the mouth? Have you thought of that? No.
Keep your nasal pathways clear.
Very good. But why? Why? How?
Because it's in and out, so then it's more movement, so it'll be less obstruction.
Yeah, that's one part of it. Okay, just bring your right hand on your outcoming air right now. I'm doing a mirror image, and just feel the quality of your air that's coming out. Whether you're breathing out through the mouth or nose, doesn't matter. Just feel that outgoing breath on your hand. Feel it. And then tell me, what are the physical qualities of that air?
It's warm.
It's warm. Very good. What else?
It's smooth.
Smooth. What else? Moist. Very good. Got all my answers. So it's warm and moist. So the outgoing air is warm and moist, and the air that's outside is cool and dry. So if you are taking cool and dry air through the nose and breathing out warm and moist air through the mouth, you will end up drying up your nostrils, and the dry nostrils are more prone to infections, sinus related problems, cold related problems, stuffy noses. So that's why it's important that you breathe in and out through the nose, so that will moisten your nasal walls and keep your nostrils in good shape. Does it make sense? So that's why it's really important that you breathe in and out through the nose no matter what you're doing. Again, a lot of times, like you say, you're running, you have to open the mouth. But even then, if you consciously learn to breathe in and out through the nose, you will find that you have a lot more stamina and your breathing is happening in a much better way. Okay, so those are the qualities of a good breath. What are the 7 qualities?
Smooth.
Smooth,
Balanced.
deep,
Even.
even, very good. Slow,
Nasal.
Quiet.
quiet through the nose and without pauses. Excellent job. So those are the qualities of a breath. What are the 3 connections of the breath? The world outside if you,
The present moment.
present moment, and the world inside. 3 connections. And why is breathing so very important for us to master?
Because it helps us live in the present.
That's the connection. Yeah, but what? That's the only process in the body
With conscious
that can be done consciously and unconsciously. This is one thing that you can take home tonight, that breathing is that's what gives us so much control over mental and physical state through the breath. Now, there is one big form of exhale that we engage in all the time. What is that? Talking. Anytime you bring air out of your mouth, you're talking, you're making noise, that's your exhalation. What else? Laughing. Have you heard of laughing as a form of exhalation?
Are we doing laughing yoga?
Right now. So just like yoga started in India, there was this Dr. Madan Kataria. He is a practicing physician and he was doing some research about benefits of laughter. Have you heard of laughter is the best medicine?
Yes.
Yes. So how often do you practice it? Every day. So when was the last time you laughed like like in a big way, like from your stomach, not just like hi. So when was the last time you laughed aloud?
Probably this morning.
This morning. What caused that?
My sister,
And what did she do?
she made a funny face.
And so you just laughed out loud.
Yeah.
Very good. Good. What else? Why did you laugh? Why did you laugh last aloud like that? Did you laugh? Do you remember when you laughed?
I wasn't there, and this kid fell.
Okay, so was it today or? Okay, good. How about you in the back? Siley, when did you laugh loud?
Mickey, she's weird.
Yeah, so she makes you laugh? Yeah. Okay, so but do you laugh like really loud?
Yeah.
Okay, so very good. So how does laughing make you feel?
Good.
Good. It makes you feel happy, right? So, do you laugh because you're happy or you laugh and that makes you happy?
Both.
Both. Right. Very good. So it works both ways. So a lot of times people just wait for something outside of us to happen and then we'll be happy because we seek that happiness outside of us, that somebody fell or somebody made funny faces or somebody cracked jokes, and that's why we laugh. So it's somebody else outside of you causing it. How about you laughing from within? Have you tried that? Just laughing from within because it's good for us. Have you tried that? Yes? You just laugh just like that?
I've done that.
You done that? Okay. Very good. So did you do that just for a reason or just to experience it?
Just for experience.
Because then you just started laughing. Very good. Okay. And how did that make you feel?
Weird.
Weird. Okay. So not really happy, but okay.
I laughed at myself.
Okay. So it's a way to come out of boredness, or it's a way to make us happy. So we're going to right now just try that. Right now, if there is no reason, I'm not going to tell you any joke, but we're just going to laugh it because it's good for us, because we know laughter is the best medicine, and we don't need any co-pays or doctor's appointments or insurance or deductibles to get this medicine, right? So just face each other, come in a bigger circle. Come in a bigger circle. Maybe you can stand up. Just stand up for a second here. Motion brings emotion. So let's just stand up here and look at each other. And we're going to take a deep breath in because laughter is a big exhale. And so we're going to start laughing, just looking at each other. So in the beginning it's fake it until we make it, okay? So we're going to look, and in the beginning just like hey, that's okay. Just look at each other, but make sure you look at each other, make an eye connection. This is a social phenomenon. Ready? So take a deep breath in
Shri's dream.
and then start laughing. Okay? Take a deep breath. Okay, just join here. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Okay, take a deep breath. Okay, relax. So that's our signal to stop whatever you're doing and just come back to this. So how did you feel when you laughed like that?
I felt
You
fake.
felt happy, right? Okay, yeah, in the beginning it's really fake. It does get real when you do it often enough times, and it helps you boost your confidence and your sense of humor and just brings out more sunny personality. So let's try this one out. So now we're going to laugh without making the sound, okay? So we're going to just open the mouth but not making the sound, but look at each other and laugh without making the sound. Okay, so take a deep breath in. Here we go. Nice deep breath in and then
Come on. Oh, Auntie. Oh. I feel bad at this. Are we still going? Oh, okay.
so how did it feel in the stomach?
Tight.
It's really inside exhausting. It's like an internal jogging. This massages your inner system. A lot of times when we work out, we exercise, we don't think about these inner organs and we just think about the muscles that we see in the mirror. But this works our inner organs, digestive system, and it helps you boost your digestion capacity. So this also increases your appetite. So if you are poor eating or digestion habits, this helps you with that also. Let's try now another one. This one is just we're going to reach for a problem that you have, maybe something that's happening that you don't make it up. So just reach for it in the middle and we're going to go and throw it out in the air. So take a deep breath in, ready? We're going to go the A and then throw it out. So ready? Take a deep breath. Let's do it with the other hand also. So take a deep breath in again. So reach to So even though there was no reason to laugh mentally on the outside, when you laugh like this, can you think of anything else when you're laughing like this?
Yeah,
What were you thinking about?
Shri.
Shri? Okay, so just looking at him and laughing about him probably. So that's okay. When we laugh like this, we cannot think of anything else. So that's our dynamic meditation. Because when we are meditating, this is what we do, that we break the chain of the thoughts. And when you are laughing, that happens automatically. That's why laughter is a form of dynamic meditation that you can get into at your will whenever you want. You don't have to wait for somebody else to make you happy. Our inner nature is to be happy, and that's why it feels good to be happy, right? You like it when you feel happy? Like when you say, right? You like when you're happy, and you don't have to wait for anything outside of you to make you happy. So laughter is a way of reaching your mind through the body. Does it make sense? Because it's hard to reach your body and your breath through your mind. If I ask you right now to keep your eyes closed and don't think about your mom, and you think about the mom, right? Because it's hard to control your mind, but it's very easy to train your body. And that's why we spend so much time on doing these physical exercises, mat exercises, training our body, because body does it whatever you ask you the body. Okay, raise your right hand, take 2 steps forward. It's very easy for your body to follow your commands, and that's when you start laughing physically from here. That reaches your mind and that makes you happy, so you don't have to wait for anything outside of you to make you happy. Let's do one more thing here. This is called mental floss, just like like dental floss, we take out the thing that is stuck in the teeth. So we're going to take out the thing that is stuck in our minds. We're going to floss our mind through our laughter. Because a lot of times things start decaying. We have so many thoughts about this, that. So ready? Take a deep breath in. Start flossing that mind, making that sound.
Floss like this.
Okay, last one here. We're going to go to everybody here and ask why you're laughing. I don't know, just like that. So now don't stand in your spot. Go to each other, make that eye connection, share your energy. This is really a social phenomenon. So I'm going to go to each other. Take a deep breath in.
Why you laughing? Bring your heads to the center. So heads to the center, legs out. You bring your heads to the center. Yeah, heads to the center, legs out. Okay, facing the ceiling here. Just like this. Okay, so just make yourself comfortable. And now if you want to turn the lights off here, please turn the lights off. So what we're going to do is now we're going to laugh right here. So you start with a smile and a giggle and a bout of laughter. However it comes to you, you can keep your eyes closed or open, it doesn't matter. So we're going to start right here. So take a deep breath in, start with a smile and a giggle and a bout of laughter.
Military joggers. Keep that smile in your face. Absorb that positive energy just manifested.
You're sure in the hallway.
Know that happiness is an inside job. We make it so dependent on things outside of us. So let this positive energy just manifested. Let it soak in every cell of the body. Feel that energy. And keep expressing it. The more you express it, more you'll experience it. And the more you'll be able to share it. The more you share it, the more it will be reflected back to you from several directions. So stay happy, healthy, kind, be well. Now we are done. Thank you so much.
I want to say thank you, Vidya.
Yeah. Did you learn anything?
Yeah.
What was the one thing you'll take home today?
Breathe quietly.
Breathe quietly. What else? Laugh more. Laugh more. Very good. What else? What else?
Floss.
Floss. Mental floss. Very good. I like that.
I learned that mental floss is the way I dance.
Yes.
That's my move all the time.
What would you
I didn't know what to call it.
laugh or more is very good. How about you?
Rana, what do you take home?
Take off the
Yeah.
How about diaphragmatic breathing? Anybody remember that?
Always on you.
Thank you so much.
Because I have to go 5:06, so that's gonna have to leave here at like 5.
So thank you for having me over.
So to go over to